Welcome back to today's story. The house at the end of Laurel Street had been empty for years. Its windows like eyeless sockets. On the first night the new tenant crossed the threshold, an odd breeze carried a soft whisper through the hallway. He told himself it was the house settling. A rational sound bending in the dark. Still, the whisper repeated. A name he did not recognize. A syllable that seemed to curl into the bones of the house itself. In the kitchen, he found a small handprint on a windowsill, fresh on a layer of dust. There was no child in the town. The registry had shown the previous owners moved away. He pressed his fingers to the mark and felt a chill that lingered, as if the house had memories that clung to surfaces. That night the lights flickered 5 times in a slow, deliberate rhythm. He began to hear footsteps above him when no one was there. Soft scuffs crossing the attic. When he climbed the narrow stairs, the attic smelled of old paper and lavender sachets. A child's book lay open on a trunk. Its pages turned to a story that never matched the town's history. Scribbled in the margin was the same name he'd heard in the whispers, written in a tiny, looping script. Neighbors spoke in low tones when he asked about the house. Eyes shifted to the road. They remembered the family that once lived there. But their memories were patchy. Stories filled with pauses. An old woman pressed a locket into his hand and said, "Keep the light on." He laughed it off. But that night the glow from the hallway bulbs pooled like watchful eyes. One evening the mirror in the upstairs bathroom fogged, though the air was cold and dry. On the glass, a message faintly appeared, written from the inside out. "Don't leave." He scrubbed the mirror until his hands reddened, trying to force ordinary explanations. But the words were gone and left a darker stain, as if the glass had held a thought. At midnight, a lullaby tussled through the vents. A gentle melody that felt both comforting and wrong. He followed the sound to the cellar where trunks was stacked and a small cradle sat rocking without anyone near. The lullaby stopped as he reached it, and in the cradle lay a single shoe, wet as though from a stream, though the cellar was dry as bone. He decided to leave the house for a night and sleep at a motel. But the dreams followed him. Each dream was a corridor in the house that shifted slightly, so that a door led to a different room each time. When he woke, his phone lit with missed calls he did not remember receiving. The caller ID displayed the house's own address. A neighbor's dog refused to cross the property line near the oak tree. The old woman who owned the locket told him a story of a child who vanished in the yard decades ago, and how the family left in pieces. The town held its own small rituals of remembrance. They tended to avoid the house as if silence could unmake what had been. One stormy night, the house roared awake. Doors banged in rhythm. The old piano in the parlor played a single, discordant chord, and the air felt thick with a presence. He stood in the middle of the main room and listened, then heard, clearly, a whisper that sounded like a laugh and the name he was starting to know as its echo. When daylight returned, the house seemed smaller, less threatening in a forgiving morning. He packed his things and, for a long while, he thought leaving would erase everything.
But when he drove away and glanced in the rear view, the attic window was lit with a single soft lamp and the silhouette of a small figure watching him go. Thank you for listening. See you in the next story.